Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers are in and out, clean, efficient, and always in demand. They've got the prestige, the system, and the results to back it up. Like In-N-Out's limited menu done perfectly, the Dodgers don't overcomplicate things. They scout, develop, and win. Mookie Betts is the double-double, classic, sharp, and dependable. Shohei Ohtani is the not-so-secret sauce, flashy on the surface, but engineered to perfection. And with a farm system always stacked, they never have to panic. You may not love them, but you can't deny the quality. New York Yankees. The Yankees are McDonald's, global, dominant, and impossible to ignore. They've got the rings, the revenue, and the reputation. Aaron Judge is the Big Mac, built like a billboard and stacked with power. Every season starts with title talk, and even when they flop, the brand never takes a hit. They've had their golden eras, their clunky reboots, and now they're just there. Steady, massive, and always relevant, even if the product isn't what it used to be. Boston Red Sox. If the Yankees are McDonald's, the Red Sox have to be Burger King, forever chasing the crown, but with wild swings in quality. Their 2004 comeback was the Whopper melt of miracles. Messy, unforgettable, and historic. But they've also had seasons where nothing works, like their 2023 pitching staff. They market themselves as rebellious and authentic, and sometimes they live up to that. But other times, it's just smoke. They're unpredictable, passionate, and always trying to make a statement. Houston Astros. The Astros are polarizing perfection, like Chick-fil-A. Both have elite systems and polished execution, but controversy clings to them. Altuve is the spicy chicken sandwich. Elite flavor, polarizing heat. You might hate how they win, but you can't deny that they're delicious when they do. Even after losing Verlander and Correa, the engine didn't stop. Their farm system keeps producing, and their postseason presence has become routine. Whether it's Sunday closures or sign-stealing scandals, they dominate within their own playbook. Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are Dairy Queen. Pure nostalgia with a loyal, family-centered fan base. Their 2016 title was the first blizzard after a 100-year drought, and it hit like magic. Wrigley Field is the dipped cone of baseball. Timeless, iconic, and slightly impractical. Post-2016, things melted fast, but hope always returns. They've retooled with names like Seiya Suzuki and Pete Crow Armstrong, and fans are already dreaming of the next ice cream miracle. New York Mets. The Mets are Taco Bell, chaotic, ambitious, and one bad decision away from disaster. They spend big, like ordering everything off the late-night menu, and sometimes it works, like the 2015 World Series run, but too often it ends in regret. Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander came and went like bold new flavors, expensive, hyped, and gone too soon. Their fan base lives for the high-risk, high-reward roller coaster, and no one ever knows what they're getting next. St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals are Culvers, Midwestern, methodical, and built on consistency. They're not flashy, but they deliver. Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado are the Butterburgers. Reliable, rich, and built to last. Even in down years like 2023, their fundamentals hold up: good base running, clean defense, and a culture that values structure. It's not about hype, it's about habits. And in the Midwest, that's more than enough. Atlanta Braves. The Braves are Raising Cane's, one formula, no filler, and relentless results. Like Cane's Chicken, their core is simple. Draft smart, lock up talent, and let it cook. Ronald Acuna Jr. is the combo box. Flashy, powerful, and perfectly assembled. And with Spencer Strider and Matt Olson doing their part, the lineup doesn't need extras. Atlanta's system doesn't change much, but that's the point. It just wins. Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are Starbucks, data-driven, process-obsessed, and consistently effective, even if nobody really loves them. Their farm system is a Frappuccino assembly line. Complex, automated, and weirdly consistent. Shane McClanahan is the cold brew, high velocity and ice-cold execution. They don't spend, they optimize. And just like Starbucks in every city, the Rays are in the playoff mix every year, even if you're not entirely sure how. Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are five guys, loud, greasy, and when it hits, it really hits. Bryce Harper is the extra bacon. Unnecessary, excessive, and completely essential. They're all in on power and vibes, even if the pitching leaks like a paper bag. Their 2022 World Series run was fries everywhere and no napkins. Beautiful chaos. Expensive, flawed, but built to entertain. And with Schwarber and Castellanos still launching bombs, the mess is part of the charm. San Francisco Giants. The Giants are Chipotle, once dominant, still trendy, but no longer the clear standard. Their 2000s dynasty was the perfectly layered burrito, awkward at times, but unbeatable when it came together. Madison Bumgarner was the hot salsa. fiery, uncontainable, and best when unleashed in October. Now, with a rotating cast and a farm system trying to reset, they still have moments of flavor, but often collapse under the weight of their own wrap. They're custom built, never boring, but sometimes too ambitious for their own good. San Diego Padres. The Padres are Jollibee. Fun, colorful, and overflowing with ingredients, but often missing cohesion. They had the Tatis Machado Soto trio, which felt like mixing spaghetti, fried chicken, and peach mango pie into one bowl. Exciting, but inconsistent. 2023 was supposed to be the breakout, but it turned into another reminder that hype doesn't guarantee harmony. They're lovable, marketable, and loud, but no one's sure if the flavor will ever translate into a title. Chicago White Sox. The White Sox are Popeyes, spicy, streaky, and full of attitude. Their 2005 World Series was the perfect chicken sandwich moment. Bold, satisfying, and gone too fast. Since then, it's been missed orders and backroom drama. Tim Anderson brought flair, but the team's collapse in 2023 felt like a franchise that stopped seasoning the chicken. There's heat, there's flavor, but no consistency. When they're hot, they're electric. When they're not, it's drive-thru regret. Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are Tim Hortons, Canada's default, comforting but rarely dominant. Vlad Jr. is the maple glazed superstar, fun, reliable, and built on legacy. They've made noise in recent years, but postseason exits come quick like a lukewarm double-double. They're national pride in a franchise cup, and fans love them regardless. But they haven't reached elite tier, and until they do, it's a lot of donuts, and not enough wins. Los Angeles Angels. The Angels are Carl's Jr.'s. Big names, big promises, and consistent letdowns. For years, they had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, the $6 burgers of baseball, marketed like gods, trapped in a franchise that kept burning the bun. Post Ohtani, it's all rebranding and hope, but the execution hasn't changed. They've got pieces, but the whole meal never delivers. It's all wrapper, no satisfaction. Texas Rangers. The Rangers are Shake Shack, slick, well-funded, and finally elite. Their 2023 World Series run was the crinkle-cut breakthrough, modern, sharp, and built for the spotlight. Corey Seager is the Shack Burger. Solid, composed, always delivers. They've gone from overlooked to overrated to respected, and with Bruce Bochy behind the counter, everything's cleaner and more efficient. This might just be the start of a dynasty menu. Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are Sonic Drive-In. Quirky, regional, and full of odd charm. They've got racing sausages, unexpected all-stars, and pitching that's better than people realize. Corbin Burns was the cherry limeade. Surprisingly elite, refreshingly sharp. Even in years when the offense sputters, the vibes stay strong. They may never be the league's best, but they're never boring either. There's always something weird to watch. Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians are Wendy's, savvy, underrated, and occasionally savage. Jose Ramirez is the spicy nugget king, low-key elite and always ready to punch above his weight. They win with budget pitching and sharp defense, like snarky Twitter comebacks instead of big money deals. They're not flashy, but they're always in the mix, especially in a winnable division, smart, sharp, and built from the farm up. Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles are Panda Express, fast, young, and suddenly irresistible. Adley Rutschman is the orange chicken, the go-to guy, sweet and deadly. Their 100-win 2023 season shocked everyone, and they've doubled down on youth, adding Jackson Holliday and stacking depth. You didn't expect them to rise this fast, but here they are. Bold, efficient, and better with every bite. And with a modern front office, they're here to stay. Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are Del Taco, slightly off the radar, but full of late-night clutch. Their 2001 and 2023 World Series runs were peak value meals. Affordable, chaotic, and unforgettable. Corbin Carroll is the secret sauce. Speedy, dynamic, and impossible to contain. They're never the trendy pick, but they always overachieve when it counts. Never count out the second option on the menu. Cincinnati Reds. The Reds are steak and shake, historic, regional, and fighting for relevance. Once home to the Big Red Machine, now they're serving sliders and milkshakes, fun, young, and full of upside. Ellie De La Cruz is the double steak burger. Raw, fast, and impossible to miss. Their rebuild is ahead of schedule, their farm system is pumping talent, and they've finally got something worth lining up for. They might not be back to national relevance yet, but the flavor is coming. Miami Marlins. The Marlins are Jack in the Box, wild, erratic, and oddly successful when no one's watching. They've won 2 titles, both as underdogs, both without warning. One year they're 69-93, the next they're in the playoffs. Jazz Chisholm was the loaded curly fry, spicy, unpredictable, and occasionally overwhelming. You don't trust them long term, but that one insane October run, it's always a possibility. Washington Nationals. The Nationals are Qdoba, similar to Chipotle, but with fewer wins and even fewer fans. Their 2019 title was the perfectly balanced burrito bowl, clutch pitching, veteran bats, and unexpected magic. But since then, it's been all rice, no guac, Juan Soto's gone, Scherzer's gone. Now it's just a rebuild wrapped in foil. There's still a foundation, but it's gonna take a while before anyone lines up again. Detroit Tigers. The Tigers are KFC, legendary, battered, and trying to reheat their legacy. From Ty Cobb to Miguel Cabrera, their past is rich, but their present, mostly undercooked. Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson are the new crispy tenders. Young, promising, but still figuring it out. They've got pitching coming, they've got prospects, but they're still stuck between eras. The bucket isn't full yet, but at least it's no longer empty. Minnesota Twins. The Twins are Arby's. They've got the meat, but not the playoff wins. They dominated the AL Central, but 18 straight postseason losses turned them into a meme. Carlos Correa is the meat mountain. Expensive, bold, and hard to digest when it doesn't work. 2023 finally snapped the streak, and hope is rising, but the damage lingers. They've got the tools, but the postseason fryer needs fixing. Colorado Rockies. The Rockies are Baskin-Robbins. Fun to visit, but never anyone's first choice. Coors Field is baseball's dessert bar. Home runs everywhere. Pitching careers buried like old toppings. They develop flavor, but never balance. Nolan Arenado, traded. Trevor Story, gone. Now it's Chris Bryant, a melting scoop on a team that can't hold shape. The offense is sweet, the standings are bitter, and it's always been that way. Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates are A&W, vintage, lovable, and mostly forgotten. Roberto Clemente was the root beer float of legends, smooth, heroic, and impossible to replicate. But now, it's all foam and no fizz. They've got pieces like O'Neal Cruz and Paul Skeens, but the rebuild is slow and trust is thin. Every spring brings new hope, but by July, the machine's empty again. Fans hang on out of loyalty, and that's the only thing keeping it afloat. Kansas City Royals. The Royals are checkers, low budget, high energy, and built for one big moment. 2015 was their drive-thru masterpiece, speed, defense, and timing all peaking at once. But that meal ended fast, and they've been rebuilding ever since. Bobby Witt Jr. is the fry-seasoned MVP, exciting, wild, and carrying the whole order. There's hope again, but it's still a long wait at the window. Oakland Athletics. The Athletics are Subway, innovative once, now a shell of themselves. They pioneered analytics, flipped stars for prospects, and outsmarted the system. But now, it's just sad bread and relocation rumors. Moneyball became Moneyfall, and Vegas feels like a last-ditch rebrand. They've got fans boycotting, ownership ducking, and a team that's barely to towel. Once everywhere, now barely edible. Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are Panera Bread, classy, clean, and forever unfinished. Their 2001 season was the fresh-baked high, 116 wins and a whole lot of hope. Since then, mostly lukewarm. Julio Rodriguez is the Mediterranean sandwich, bright, marketable, and full of promise. 2022 gave a taste of what could be, but the core hasn't clicked like it should. They've got the ingredients, but somehow it always leaves you hungry for more. If you like this video, check out this next one, which YouTube thinks you are going to love.